Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Denonu, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And I'm just gonna do a quick little video here. Nothing too fancy. I'm not gonna be talking about any one particular movie or anything like that, but I'm just wanna give my thoughts on Marvel and the MCU and how not how I think things should be done, but I think what's the best things, for them to do going forward with their franchises and things like that. And we're not going to be talking about every particular franchise. I'm just going to be talking about as a whole, because we're heading into Black Panther. Like, I know that's currently out right now, raking in tons of money. And I know I have yet to see it. I'm going to go see it in IMAX in about 2 hours. But I was thinking, with the MCU, right, going into Infinity War, and the outcome of that, whatever that may be, you basically have Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, Chris Evans, Captain America, and probably a few other of the, I guess you can call them the old heads of the MCU. It probably mainly them two. They're gonna probably stop doing the characters that they've been doing. I don't know what's gonna happen, whether we see somebody die or whatever, going into that, I think the best thing for them to do, if Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans don't want to be the characters anymore, granted, they've been playing them for like 10 years, or pushing probably 10 years, and it's kind of, they want to move on from the franchise. They're both getting older, things like that, so it makes more sense for them to do that. That's just life, that's just the way it is. I don't want Robert Downey Jr. to leave from, and stop playing Tony Stark, because I think he kills it, but it's one of those things where, it has to happen eventually. So I think the best thing going forward is they would have to, something has to happen in Infinity War. Let me just say that. By Thanos coming down, I think one of them has to die. I don't know which one, whether it be Cap or Tony Stark, but I think somebody has to get in order to make the stage impactful. In order to give that movie that kind of gravitas, you have to have one of them die during the movie. And it will be easy to make it, let's say, like Captain America, because he's like that moral backbone of the Avengers and the whole team and everything. But it would have more of an impact if it was Tony Stark, because he's the face of the MCU, and he, out of everybody in the MCU, he probably has more of an ongoing character arc from Iron Man 1 to Infinity War. He probably has the biggest change out of everybody in there character-wise. So it would be more impactful if it was him. And I don't know how you would do it. I'm not a writer. Maybe that knockout punch that he took from Thanos in the trailer, maybe that killed him. Maybe that broke his neck. But at the end of the movie, because you have to change actors eventually and things like that, I think the biggest thing going forward is if he does die in the movie, or if Cap dies in the movie, how they can easily, let's say, bring them back with new actors. I know I said this before in a previous commentary, is you have the Infinity Gauntlet. That warps reality, for those of you who don't know. So what they can do is, let's say if Iron Man gets killed, sacrificing himself trying to stop Thanos, or trying to stop Thanos from killing a team, something, right? At the end of the movie, once they begin to fix everything, like comic books mostly do, they have to hit that big reset button to make sure that their heroes don't die. You can have like Captain America pick up the Infinity Gauntlet to try to like change things back the way they were. And when they do that, let's say, make a reason in there, throw an afterthought reason in there. You can have him pick up the gauntlet, put it on, have him try to change reality back, but since he's, a normal human, so to speak, and not, let's say, Thanos, let's say he can't control it like Thanos could perfectly. And let's say he brings everybody back, but then in the next Avengers movie, Iron Man isn't Robert Downey Jr., he's somebody else. You know, that's one way you can do it, because that's how they do it in comic books. You either warp reality, or I'm a different alternate timeline character popping into the main universe, things like that. So you can easily write in a new actor. Just do some reality warping, do something like that to to fix things. But or they could do it like this. This would be the dumber option, but depending on if Marvel does like phase, I don't know what phase they're on now, but whatever the next phase is, depending on how they want to do it, if they keep things the same like they've been doing it, I can see them like putting Iron Man on the back burner and not showing Tony Stark, or not having Iron Man movies for like the next 5 to 8 years, something like that. Bring up other characters and then bring him back. Like, oh, look, here's Tony Stark with a new actor. I think that's the wrong way to do it, because then you're sidelining one of your most popular characters in the MCU. So I think the easiest way to do it is just to say, oh, reality got warped, shit happens, here's the new Tony Stark, and just have the characters don't reference it because they think this is the Tony Stark that they always knew, because reality got warped. I think that's the easiest way to do it. You can also bring in the X-Men that way. I don't know how, I don't know how they're going to do that, but you have to bring in X-Men and the Fantastic Four, all of that stuff too. So, that would be the easiest way to do that. But going forward, even past Iron Man and Captain America, given how much people like Black Panther, it would be smart for Marvel to, instead of, because once Robert Downey Jr., let's say whatever happens with him, if he leaves from playing Iron Man, because it's eventually going to happen probably in the next few years, you have to have somebody else take the face of the MCU. It would be smart for Marvel to make that Black Panther, because he's somebody you can put on that level. People seem to love Chadwick Boseman as, Black Panther. They love his character. They love his movie. So it's like, I would make him the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I would love for it to be Spider-Man, just like how Marvel does it in comics. But they can't do that. Until they get the rights to Spider-Man back 100% movie-wise, they can't do that. They have them with everything else, with comic books and toys and everything else. It's just that those movie rights. And until they get that back, they can't make him Spider-Man, because you don't want to have the face of your company or your movieverse or whatever be somebody else's property. That's just stupid. That's why Sony gets mad at Marvel, because they still got the toy rights to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's toys outsell everybody else's. So I think if Marvel was smart, they would make it Black Panther. They would put him in the forefront, have him be the person that could be in a few different movies to kind of piece things together, kind of like how Tony Stark was with the first phase, and just keep throwing Wakanda in there some kind of way, to make it all tie together with Black Panther. I think that would be the best going forward. And Chadwick Boseman, like, he's a young dude, he's not like an old guy, so like, make him sign like one, well, they can't make him sign anything, but kick him out that Robert Downey Jr. money and be like, look, we want you to be Black Panther for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Because he'd probably take that. like who wouldn't take that? You know what I'm saying? So he's young enough to where he would probably want to do it, and he doesn't seem I don't know if he is or not, but he doesn't seem like, or at least not yet, like he's one of those actors who love acting for the sake of acting. And what I mean by that is, when I say characters, let's say like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, or Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, those type of actors, besides being comic book roles, they're like actors. They like acting for like trying different roles or trying different things outside of their range, and then seeing if they can kill the role. They like a lot of the meat and potatoes behind acting, not just, oh, I'm just an actor being in this movie. Chadwick Boseman, I think he can get there, because I've seen him in a lot of great movies. Like I love that movie, what's it called, Message from the King or something like that, where he was, just I guess it was a low-rent Black Panther movie, I guess you can call it that. Guy coming from Africa going to America whooping ass. But loved him in that movie. So I know he's a great actor, but I just don't think, he may not be at that point yet in his career where he wants to explore and express himself as an actor in tons of different roles like that, So he would probably be willing to, you know, stay with Marvel for like 10 years, because he's young enough to do it. And it would, like I said, that would be the smartest way to go about doing things, because outside of Black Panther, I guess the only other person who could carry the torch if they decide to push it that way would probably be Doctor Strange. A lot of people like his character, things like that. But again, Benedict Cumberbatch is one of those actors, so I can't see him doing it for 10 years like that either. So that's why I say Black Panther's probably be the easiest character you can push that onto, and people love his character a hell of a lot more than Doctor Strange. You know what I'm saying? So it's going forward, that would be the best thing that they can do. And plus, if they wanted to, you could spin that off into other things, because like Black Panther in the comics, he's been in like everybody's comic books. Well, I guess they all have technically, but he was a character who he had his own running thing, but you would always see him in other people's stuff. Like when he first appeared, he was in Fantastic Four. And then, he would show up, have Iron Man show up in one of his comics, or he would show up in the Avengers comics, things like that. So it makes more sense for that to be Black Panther's character to tie in all the new phases. You can bring in Captain Marvel, and if they wanted to bring in, I want them to bring in other superheroes too into the MCU that they haven't really, that I guess I would assume they're afraid to do, like bring in the Sentry, Robert Reynolds, bring him in. They can bring in Blue Marvel if they wanted to do another black race movie and spin that tale, if that's what they wanted to do. If they wanted to have like a black Superman-esque character in your movie, or bring in, I can't say black Superman because he's not really Superman in that aspect. He has his own powers and abilities that Superman doesn't have. But they can tie in other teams and other characters. That's what I'm trying to get to. Because Black Panther and I think Blue Marvel, they were a part of, I think their team was called the Ultimates in the comic book, like off the Ultimate Comic Books line, but they just took the name, and they were doing like a lot of space stuff. Like they was helping out Galactus and stopping cosmic threats, things like that. And, Black Panther even got his own planet, things like that. So if Marvel wanted to do like another cosmic story with like Black Panther and like Blue Marvel and a few other people, they could do that. So that's why I say that it would be smarter to put the MCU at Black Panther's feet going forward, and then carry it another 5 to 8 to 10 years, and then decide what they want to do after that. And hopefully by that point, Sony will probably go bankrupt, and they'll probably, Marvel will probably get Spider-Man back. But anyways, that's just my thoughts on going forward on the MCU. If you guys have any kind of thoughts like that or anything, let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys want to hear what I have to say about Black Panther, that's probably going up after this video. I'm gonna try to knock it out this evening when I see it, so it may not go up until like maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, or maybe tomorrow morning on Sunday morning. So be on the lookout for that if you guys want to hear what my Black privilege has to say about Black Panther. But anyways, guys, my name is Denonu, aka the man with the most biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.